share this page. After a hugely successful season, we can now looking forward to a third successive season and a fifth season in total in the Premier League, and the 2017-18 season, which ended 3 days ago, saw a third Burnley player hit 10 goals or more in a season. The 2009-10 season saw us play in the Premier League for the first time, yet, despite at times playing gung-ho football, no player reached the magical figure of double figures. Steven Fletcher came closest. He scored 8 times, although 6 of those came in defeats. His first league goal for us came in a 2-1 home win against Birmingham, although it could be said their lone goalkeeper Joe Hart might have dealt with it better, and he scored the second in that fantastic 3-3 draw against Manchester City on our first ever visit to the Etihad. Graham Alexander came next that season. He scored 7 times, albeit all but one of them were from the penalty spot, with 4 of those goals all scored against Hull. And David Nugent, on loan from Portsmouth, netted 6 times. Only one of those goals came in a defeat. Embed from Getty Images. So we were still looking for our first double-figure goal scorer, and that wait lasted a further 5 years when Danny Ings became the first to hit 10. In fact, he went one better with 11 goals in the 2014-15 season. In a season that yielded just 3 points more than the 2009-10 season, his goals were certainly important in terms of winning points. 5 of them came in victories with another 3 in draws. Back in the 2009-10 season, we won only one away game. This time we recorded 3 successes on the road, beating Stoke 2-1 and ending the season with 1-0 wins at Hull and Aston Villa. Ings scored all 4 of those goals, the one at Villa proving to be his final Burnley goal prior to his move to Liverpool. Ings and Sam Vokes had both gone past 20 in the previous season when we finished second to Leicester in the Championship. Unfortunately, Vokes missed most of that Premier League season because of injury, so his first goal in the top flight didn't come until August 2016 when he scored the first in a 2-0 win against Liverpool. Embed from Getty Images. He'd now formed a strike partnership with Andre Gray, and they both scored that day. By the time the season was drawing to a close and Burnley were looking more than likely survivors, Gray was the favourite to win the club's Golden Boot. When he scored our second at Crystal Palace, he'd scored 9 with 3 games to go. Vokes was only on 6. Gray didn't score again for Burnley. Vokes netted the remaining 4 goals that season to join Ings in the double-figure group. That partnership was dissolved last summer. Gray moved on to Little Mixit at Watford, while Vokes, who scored twice at Chelsea on the opening day of the season, started just 7 games and added only 2 more goals, those at Southampton and Watford. The goal-scoring threat this time came from Ashley Barnes and new signing Chris Wood, and they had their own personal battle to become top goal scorer. A 10-goal season for either of them didn't look likely when we went into the home game against Southampton on the last Saturday in February. At the time, Wood had scored 4 times, Barnes had just 3. Wood was missing for the 9th successive game through injury, and Barnes scored our goal in a 1-1 draw to level things. Embed from Getty Images. In the next 3 games, with Wood coming on as a substitute in the first 2, they scored 7 goals between them, leaving Wood with a 1-goal advantage. That lead over Barnes doubled when he scored the opener against Leicester before Barnes came back to level with goals in successive games against Chelsea and Stoke. It was Wood who made it to double figures with his goal last Sunday against Bournemouth, and he also becomes the first Burnley player to score 10 or more goals in a Premier League season without the aid of penalties. Barnes, however, leads one Burnley goal-scoring table in the Premier League. His final goal of the season in that draw at Stoke was his 20th Premier League goal, and he sits 6 ahead of Vokes, who is in second place with 14. Barnes is also one of only 2 Burnley players to have scored goals in 3 different Premier League seasons, the other being Scott Arfield. Will we have another player reaching double figures next season? Will Barnes make it? Will Wood or Vokes achieve it for a second time? Or could there be a new striker who makes his mark in front of goal? Share this page, follow up the Clarets.